Hi everyone, welcome to the flamboyant new episode of City Skylines. In this episode, as you saw so far, we are building downtown Salazio, which will be the main skyline probably. I don't know what will happen in the future, how the city will evolve. There will probably be other size skylines in other areas, but so far, this will be the main one. Financial center, cultural center, everything. It will be quite a big skyline. I don't know if... Actually, I do know. In next episode, I will probably continue the skyline, advance it a bit more, place more details, whatnot. But in this episode, we are still doing quite a lot. I am basically laying probably 80% of the skyscrapers of this skyline. And so, yeah, and as you can see right now, this bridge over here, I really love it. It is my baby. It took me, I'm not even kidding, probably an hour to build just because I did it the first time and then I had to tear it back down because there was this curve in it. And now if you look at it, it's all straight and nice because I tried to go with this curved look in the beginning, but then I realized I couldn't really do it because of the bridge props, which weren't really designed for this. Anyway, it took quite a long time, but the result is fantastic, and I couldn't have picked a better spot to put it. So like in the middle of this beautiful little river crossing through the heart of downtown Salazio is just a perfect place where modern skyscrapers meet more ancient structures, and such as this bridge, which is not that ancient, but anyway, it's it just talks about a very nice and rich past where this metropolis was actually had a lot of money, maybe from former colonies, and the trade routes and everything going to India. So as you can see, this bridge actually is from England. So I don't know, I guess I took all that information from England, but it makes sense since we have their bridge from London. So what I'm doing right now is I am placing the buildings around the central square, which will really be a cool square. Probably gonna become one of my top favorite spots on this whole map. So you're going to see how it's going to develop. There's going to be a fountain. There's going to be other places. There's going to be a stage where people are going to, entertain communities in the community of Salazio, and all the map people, even from Lavinia, are going to come here. And so this downtown is going to have a bunch of big skyscrapers, also fancy shops like this Macy's over here. Now, the skyscrapers are all placed by hand because I didn't want to let the zoning develop my skyline. It's like I said, my skyline, so I don't want the zoning to develop it. Anyway, so there's going to be quite a fair amount of office buildings in the skyline, but also residential buildings, commercial ones as well. So I just came back from Utah. It was a 3-week trip, and it was really beautiful. But I also went to California, and I saw San Francisco, Los Angeles, and I really loved San Francisco. So maybe this central square has sort of a San Franciscan vibe. I'm talking about the buildings, because all these beautiful brick buildings, like this one, and the more to the whoa, it's moving so fast I can't even know where left from right is, but over there to the right, those buildings, I feel like they have a San Franciscan look to them. Maybe this one too that I'm placing, I know it's from Manhattan, but it's Manhattan, I mean New York City and San Francisco. I'm probably not the first one saying this. I feel like they have a lot in common architecture wise, and actually they have a lot of parks in San Francisco. Manhattan has a beautiful Central Park, So, and speaking of Central Park, I am thinking of building a massive Central Park for the residents of Salazio, which live in this dense urban jungle and might need to, just unwind a bit. And if you look at over the river at Clemenza and Lancioli, they have parks and everything. So, this city, or this part of this district, as I should probably call it, will probably need a beautiful Central Park, which will be quite big and everything and whatnot. But let's talk about what's going down in this video. So, alright, so as the video goes on, and I'm just placing more and more buildings, and the skyline densifies, And this building, the Gherkin from London, one of my top favorite buildings ever, that in real life, and I am so happy because it is on the workshop, and it's been at least for a year on the workshop. I used it in my previous city of Montreal, and it was I loved it. And from the moment I saw it, I was like, I need it in my city. And when I made this new map and everything, and I deleted most of my old assets, I cleaned everything, so I had so many things that were obsolete, and I just didn't want anymore, especially now since I'm doing a European city. But anyway, this building I knew I had to keep because it just looks incredible. Only thing though, it's not lit at night, so that really sucks because it's pretty big in my skyline, and at night it's literally just a big chunk of darkness, and you don't even see it, so it takes away a lot from the skyline. Anyway, so over here I am building that little square I just told you guys about. Well, not just, but maybe like 5 minutes ago. Anyway, and over here is a stage where singers are gonna come and entertain the crowds. And yeah, that road in the middle is gonna end up being deleted, just so we have a nice little square. And when it fills up, we can have quite a good crowd, maybe like 30,000 people or 20,000 people. You know, just maybe I'm too optimistic, but I want that place to be sort of like a Times Square, you know. Over here, what I'm doing is from this massive highway, I am making just exits and whatnot to connect this part of the city, to have a more direct connection to the downtown area, because before they had to go through Clemens and everything, and you know, it was causing massive traffic. But obviously, I was gonna build this interchange; it was just waiting to be built, and so not much, but it really functions well. And for the population, which is growing now, Salazio at the end of the video is only at 2,000 individuals, but it is steadily growing. So on this island, what's going on is that I am just placing other buildings, but more noticeably not that tall buildings, because by doing that, we will have a very beautiful view on the skyline, and these buildings will not hide it, because I am building the skyline with one thing in mind: aesthetics. If it doesn't look good, it's not gonna stay there. And basically, I have an angle from where I'm looking at it, and next time I see it in the video, I'll tell you from what angle I was building it, so you guys will sort of understand from what angle it's more refined. And over here I place this beautiful Marriott built by King Leno. Very, very good guy, very good builder. I mean, modder. He builds incredible buildings. And this over here, another beautiful little building, which I would probably love to live in. This one, it's not quite too big, not over the top or anything, just a very cozy little apartment. I think I'd like that. And alright, so then I'm placing also, it's very important in the skyline to not have only tall buildings. Also have smaller buildings, because they came there, well, most often before the taller ones, you know. So you don't want to have a weird looking, well, I'm not, you know, Dubai is like that. They have just tall buildings and maybe lacking some smaller buildings, but you know, that's not a very traditional, typical way cities develop. And yeah, so this building over here, I feel like this has a San Franciscan vibe to it. And so now I'm placing these more modern office buildings, and I don't know, maybe there's dentists in there, things like that, all kind of various people, lawyers, all along the beautiful river. Yeah, so we have quite a lot of black buildings in the city, which has quite a cool, interesting look to it, because this way we also have a lot of blue buildings as well, glass buildings, and also a lot of brick buildings, which I love brick buildings. This over here is a cancer facility research center, so quite cool building, which is not too tall, which is perfect, because from the highway I want the skyline to be beautiful and the view to be unobstructed. Alright, so as this episode is coming to an end, I must say this was a really beautiful episode. I mean, interesting episode to make. Sorry, I shall not comment on my builds. Maybe you should comment, maybe, and like my video, maybe subscribe. I hear there's something like turning a bell on or something. If you want to get notifications, maybe you should do that if you want. I don't know. And over here, what I'm doing is I'm placing this building over here. I'll actually clip this taller building, the skyscraper with a cross on it, into this older building, because this way it's gonna look so interesting. Look at this cool mix of an older building with a more modern building. And I see that a lot in my home city of Montreal, and a lot of like New York and San Francisco. A lot of cities that have older buildings typically tend to do that quite often. So over here we are closing the square from this side. I shall call it the northern side, and we are placing this pretty cool hotel from a cool angle. And this way the square is closed, and they are ready to host events.